Everybody in the Browns community is up in arms about the Jed Wills comments about making a business decision. But today on the Ultimate Browns, I'm going to let you know why that's just the tip of the iceberg. And it's a symptom of something more deeper with the Cleveland Browns. We'll talk about it coming up next. It's G. Bush right here on the Ultimate Browns. Welcome to the fastest 30 minutes in all of sports. It's your boy G. Bush right here with the Ultimate Browns. Hope you had a good bye week. Hope you kind of cleansed some of the bad taste out of your mouth that the Cleveland Browns left in the 2-7 record earlier this season. Hopefully you got away from the game a little bit, checked out some things, hang out with your family, watch the Cavs as they charge out to a 12-0 lead. They've been saving us a lot. The Guardians and the Cavs have saved us from a lot of heartache and pain. But we are back at it here in Ultimate Browns, examining what's going on with the Cleveland Browns. Back at it this week. The big news in Berea over the weekend was Jed Wills. Jed Wills, the former top 10 pick, the left tackle of the Cleveland Browns. He's been demoted. Dawand Jones looks like he's going to be the tackle of the future for the Cleveland Browns. Jed Wills had an opportunity to speak about what he thought about being benched and his injury situation up to this point. And he made some controversial thoughts comments about what he went through and basically said he made a business decision. We'll come back and listen to his words. I don't want to take anything out of context, and we'll come back and give you my thoughts on what that means and what that means moving forward for the Cleveland Browns. But this is Jed Wills. This is courtesy of Dangerous Daryl Ryder, beat reporter for 92.3 The Fan, and this was the comments that we played today on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
It was pretty shocking. I mean, I decided myself, I made a business decision not to play after the Bengals game, going into that Ravens game, because I was injured. And then the next week is when I received the news. So, I mean, I got hyperextended on the very first play. I kind of felt it, but we were going up on the ball, and everybody was getting set. So I was like, well, I'll stay in if it hurts later, and I got to come out. That is what it is. But I ended up finishing the game. The next day I got some treatment and stuff, and my knee was really swollen. I couldn't really bend it, so played out the week how it went. I wasn't ready for game time, so I didn't end up playing. Early on in the week, it was just more kind of like they evaluated what it was. I had a lot of fluid in there. I had to get drained. I had some swelling. I had some damage to my cartilage, and I have a bone bruise that I've been dealing with since last year. So they just kind of evaluated it. I didn't practice the first 2 days that were full speed, and then we had a padded practice. I didn't practice. I tried to do some stuff on the Friday. Didn't feel good. And then they just declared me as inactive after that Friday practice. I think upset isn't a good word to use. I would say it's more frustrating, but I mean, it's not my decision. I mean, I can only do what I can do. So, and there really wasn't enough time. It was more just because we were getting ready for that Baltimore game that week, or not the Baltimore game. The Chargers game. So more like being ready to play, if anything. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to go out there and put forth, 70% of your effort while you're injured, and then you have somebody else who go out there and give 100. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be out there the whole time, like, thinking about my knee. I got to focus on my assignment and who I'm blocking. So, like you said, in the past with high ankles, I played, and I didn't play as good. So why would I do the same thing, risking a worse knee injury?
So that was Jed Wills and the comments he made about, you heard in the business decision part earlier on the clip. Now, look, do I think that it's as egregious as it sounds? No. I think it's a situation where sometimes you misspeak and you say things that you may not necessarily know what they mean, or you may say things that necessarily get you into trouble because you didn't kind of think of before you said it. And a lot of people are saying he didn't know what business decision means, right? And basically, for me, in the context of what business decision means is, look, I'm looking out for myself and my future moving forward. I don't want to get hurt even further because I know I'm going to I need to maximize the potential of being able to have a career after this. So I'm not going to put myself in harm's way if I'm not 100%. So I'm going to make a business decision. It's not about what's best for the team. It's what's best for me and my body. And the business decision means, like, yeah, I'm going to sit this one out. Hopefully my body feels better, and I'm not going to play until I'm 1,000% healthy, and that's the only thing I'm worried about, right? My next contract, my next bag, and how I'm going to be able to play. Now, I don't think when you look into the context of everything, when you listen to everything there, he basically said, look, he could have said it in a better way. Like, look, man, I was battling through some injuries. I got injured, had to have my knee drained. I've been battling a bone bruise. And, there's times I went out there where, I thought I was hurting the team a little bit. I wanted to fight through it, but through the ankle sprains and some of the injuries that I tried to fight through, I wasn't able to play up to the level that I think the team needed for us to have at left tackle. So, I'm not going to put myself before the team. Of course, I want to be out there for my teammates, but I'm not going to be selfish and compromise what we're trying to do offensively and be out there and hurt the team because I'm not performing adequately because of the injuries. If he would have said it like that, people would have completely understood because he's telling you that the team it comes before that. He's not thinking about himself per se. And that's a situation where he don't want to get to a point where he's out there performing terribly and it's hurting the team. They can't move the football. He's giving up sacks. Guys are out there getting hit because of his injury, him not playing well. So for me, I think it was a slip up of what he was thinking about. He said something, but also what I'm going to also say is, I can understand where people's getting salty, but I can't give him no benefit of the doubt on it. You know why? Because I said it on UCSS. There are certain things you need to be cognizant of. And when you say you make a business decisions and you said that word, that lines up with your play for the last 4.5 years. You see, this hasn't been a thing with Jedrick Wills that we've been talking about. We gave excuse after excuse. Well, he's just not Joe Thomas. No, he's never been close to Joe Thomas. To me, for a guy that watches offensive line play, he's never been a lineman that's been up to snuff when it comes to certain things. And one of the things that's unexcusable is the lack of finishing plays off, not knowing what your assignment are, stopping in middle of plays while your quarterback's getting hit, while guys are getting hit in the backfield, turning around saying, whose guy is it? Quitting on plays. When you block it for 2 seconds, the play goes on for 5 seconds, you turn around and look around. Turnovers are happening. The organization has talked about it. Yeah, we need Jed to finish plays. We need Jed to finish plays. We think Jed will be fine. We like Jed. Listen, this is a bigger thing that we'll start to talk about coming up in the second part of this episode is, we're starting to see it in full time and in real time, the consequences of certain type coaching and certain type mentality in the front office. We're starting to see it in terms of, we talked about it last week where you have Zadarius Smith and Amari Cooper making comments about they wouldn't mind being here. Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry ended up in a bad place. You take a look at Jadeveon Clowney, ended up in a bad place. John Johnson ended up in a bad place where he says, listen, get me up out of here. Juan Thornhill is making noise about how, basically him saying that he misses being back in wherever you at in Kansas City. And now you come out with this situation where you have Jedrick Wills coming out saying, you know what? I'm making a business decision. This doesn't look good, man. It doesn't look good on Andrew Berry. It does not look good on the locker room and the atmosphere around the Cleveland Browns, because this was supposed to be cleaned up. At first we thinking these are one-offs where guys are leaving. They may be disgruntled or whatever the case may be. But these are free agents after free agents after free agents that's coming here leaving in a different way, and it's just it's difficult to hear a lot of this stuff. And plus, look, Jedrick Wills, whether you want to believe it or not, he's a top 10 pick. He's a top 10 pick. I'll tell you what. We'll come up and there's a clip that we're going to play in our second segment that you guys are going to see. And Adam the Bull talks about all of the guys that we missed on that we took because of Jedrick Wills. And I understood that with Joe Thomas had just retired, but that's not a reason why you draft somebody. I've always had a problem that Jedrick Wills was always a run-blocking right tackle from Alabama, and they moved him to left tackle under what, like he was not a dominant top 10 type pick at Alabama. I said, what is this? I never understood the pick. Never understood it. Tristan Wirfs is a guy who's an all-pro that came right after him. You whiffed on that one. For me, it's not the fact that I'm sorry that it was a situation where, he's not playing. If you're not ready to play, by all means, hey, listen, get healthy, get ready to go. Get healthy and get ready to go. But here's the problem with it that I've had. It's not for me. It's not a situation when I'm just looking at, oh, well, Jedrick, went out there and he wasn't ready to play. I look at his play overall. That's the problem I've always had, is his overall play, his overall intensity on the field, his overall assignment football, and overall nastiness on the football field. I feel all of those have been lacking. You look at his PFF grade, you take a look at the film, and it has been evident since he's been here with the Cleveland Browns. And Andrew Berry, he picked up the 5th year to start with. He picked up the 5th year preemptively. That looks crazy on you. That looks wild, because it looks like now you've demoted him. He's a swing tackle, and you're going to give him all this money, a bag full of money. And I just never saw it. When we come back, I'm going to tell you why it's deeper than Jedrick Wills' comments. It goes to the heart of what we're talking about with the Cleveland Browns. It's the talent. It's the evaluations. And this one, this is hard to take. This is hard. This is a hard one to swallow. Well, look, you're listening to the Ultimate Browns right here on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show Network. Well, listen, the Cleveland Cavaliers are off to a historic start, not just for the Cleveland Cavaliers organization, but a historic start in the entire NBA record books, man. So you want to keep in contact with the Ultimate Cavaliers. It's going to give you the best place to find out what's going with the Cavaliers and track their historic pace right now. Mikey McNuggets and Jason Lloyd take you behind the scenes Ultimate Cavaliers. Make sure you check that out. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you know when and where they're dropping their episodes. Also, make sure you check out my man Earl the Pearl and the Ultimate 216, giving you that mix of between sports and culture right here on the UCSS network, doing a great job over there. Both part of the great organization that we started to build right here on UCSS. You get all these shows at one place at one time. Hit the subscribe button so you know when we drop in our videos. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes in all the sports. It's your boy G Bush right here on the Ultimate Browns Show. Look, we talked about it earlier today on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. every single day, Monday through Friday. Make sure you check that out. We talked about it today. There's a lot of people that we miss, and there's a lot of people that the Browns have missed and could have had an opportunity. Now, this is a little hyperbole, but I couldn't take it no more. I'm going to just keep it real with you. I couldn't take it no more. Like, listen to some of these names Adam the Bull is bringing up that the Cleveland Browns have missed on. Guys that have come and given you the business. Guys who are not only great players in this league, but listen to the all-pros, the top of the creme de la creme of guys who we've taken. And these guys were available after we took Jedrick Wills at 10. Think about this. Think about some of these names sitting here for the Cleveland Browns, and you tell me you wouldn't go crazy like myself. Think about this. If you rolled out and said what you could get for Greg Newsome and Jedrick Wills, you're dealing with it. You might get a 6th or 7th for both of them.
Players the Browns could have taken at 10.
Wait a minute. Wait, this is
Tristan Wirfs.
Oh, this
crazy.
Is, okay.
CD Lamb.
Crazy.
AJ Terrell, who's a really good
Crazy.
Justin Jefferson.
Crazy.
Brandon Ayuk.
Stop.
Jordan Love. Patrick Queen. All first-round picks after Jedrick Wills.
Get out of here. Get out of here, man. This is unacceptable.
Andrew Berry's worse than I thought, man.
They misassessed.
Oh, my God.
What's wrong?
They misassessed.
What's wrong?
He said this is unacceptable.
Just say them names again. Say it one more time.
All right, here we go. You ready?
A lot of names, boy.
These are the picks that went after him in the first round. Tristan Wirfs. AJ Terrell. CD Lamb. Justin Jefferson. Brandon Ayuk. Jordan Love. Patrick Queen. Isn't Jordan Brooks a good player too?
He's a great tackler.
Yeah.
This hurts my heart.
But this is the thing, though. Can we be?
By the way, throw in these guys at the top of the second round: T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, DeAndre Swift.
Can you be fair about this?
Jonathan Taylor.
Wait a minute. Let's be fair about this.
Yeah.
When that draft happened, you had just lost Joe Thomas. You had
They could have taken Tristan Wirfs.
You had Odell. You had Jarvis.
I can't breathe.
Didn't you have Odell in 2020? I'm pretty sure you did.
Breathe, big fella.
You had
breathe.
Jarvis. You had Odell. You had Baker.
It's okay.
You had Nick Chubb.
You're going to be okay.
I mean,
You're gonna be
you
all
had
right.
Myles Garrett. You had Denzel Ward. So, like, a lot of them people, like, they wasn't going to take anyways.
Tyvis, you tried it. You tried it. Shout out to my man Tyvis, my brother Tyvis over there. He's just the ultimate glass half full type dude. You know what I'm saying? He just look at it so optimistic. They had Jarvis and Odell. They had just lost Joe Thomas. So therefore, you know, Jed Wills was right there for the taking. First of all, Tyvis, Jed Wills was never mentioned in the top tackles in that class. Nobody was trading up to get Jed Wills. Nobody was trading up to go get a right tackle run blocker and move him to left tackle like he was that dude. He's always, listen, this dude has had a guard skill set since he played at Alabama. 2, Tristan Wirfs is an all-pro that was at the same position that you missed on. 3, just because Joe Thomas is out of the, like, you don't go and invest an overreach of a guy. And think about it like this. They like Jarvis and Odell so much that by the end of their careers, they refused to throw them the football, and then they left on a bad note, just like the rest of the free agents that come here. We talked about the whole time. Jarvis is making 12 or 13. Odell, you can't have 2 guys making that much money. 2 receivers. And guess what they end up doing? They end up not paying Jarvis. They end up not, they cut Odell and got nothing for him. And you still didn't have no receivers. So you didn't have you telling me a succession plan of Justin Jefferson and CD Lamb wasn't better than a busting Jed Wills? See, this is the problem. This is the problem. The fact that they even identified, that you couldn't identify all of them names that was coming after Jed Wills is ridiculous. It's crazy. And that's the bigger problem and the deeper problem with the Cleveland Browns. If you go down and you continue to analyze this, and you continue to analyze what we're doing and where we're at, the problem is it's the evaluation of talent. It's the evaluation of understanding who's a playmaker and who's not. Who's a jag and who's just a regular warm body. I mean, the receiver core is just, I mean, I like Cedric Tillman. He's had a couple of good games here. I think Tillman going to be okay. But come on, man. You hear names like Ayuk, Brandon, Justin Jefferson, CD Lamb, Taylor. Listen, there's picks after pick. Rewind the tape. Go back and listen to it. I ain't got to play it twice. But it's a deeper problem. It's a deeper situation. Because you got the David Bell picks. And think about it like this. In a season where you just moved on from Amari Cooper, why have you not seen Kadarius Toney or Jamari Thrash? Why? The season is over. What are you waiting for? This is the problem I got with the Cleveland Browns. When you watch the Cleveland Cavs, it is night and day. You know what they did? They got somebody in there that knew what they was doing. Coaching matters and talent evaluation matters. And the thing about the Browns is, instead of seeing what you got, instead of seeing and moving some guys around, how is Jamari Thrash not getting no minutes and you've invested picks in these guys? You don't need to see, if you're not going to sign Elijah Moore back, you don't need to see what you got in him. There's nothing left to see at all. Play the young dudes. Listen, to be honest with you, you should be playing Zach Zenner. Play him some more. Cedric Tillman shouldn't be coming off the field. He should be on the field all the time because you need to see what you got. The problem that we got is the more and more we start examining this stuff and looking with a microscope, Some of these picks are listen, that pick is indefensible. That's indefensible. You needed a tackle, and there was multiple ones there, and you picked the wrong one. And even if you was going to reach for I'd rather take the best available player on the board at receiver, knowing that you were not signing Odell, or you were not signing Jarvis Landry. It's again deeper issues. I don't want to make it doom and gloom, but this is where we're evaluating. This is what we're doing. We're looking at drafting a quarterback. We need a couple of receivers. We need to retool our offensive line, and we need to be having questions whether Andrew Berry is the dude that's supposed to be doing it. Because this pick looks crazy. Your top two picks, you've had first-round draft picks, and listen, what can I say about that? He said Andrew Berry has had 5 first-round picks. He gave 3 of them up for Deshaun Watson. You got Jedrick Wills, and you got Greg Newsome. That is not a really good return on investment. I mean, what am I supposed to say? Do you like those picks? Put it in the comments below. When we get back, we're going to talk about this. I think we're in a weird place with the fans right now. And I'm starting to see it on the ground level here. And it's a little bit of a scary place for the Browns. And I will explain it coming up here next. It's G. Bush here, right here on the UCSS Network. What up, guys? It's your boy, G. Bush. Every single week, we give you 2 episodes of the Ultimate Browns. We also give you clips. So if you miss any of the long version shows, I give you clips throughout the week. So you can get stayed up on all of the latest content with the Cleveland Browns. Your boy, G. Bush, over here doing it big. Make sure you check us out. Also, check out the Ultimate Buckeyes. Buckeyes, big-time win against Penn State a few weeks ago. Looking to get back into the Big Ten Championship, work their way into contention for the college football playoff. Mike Doss was on the other day with me, Dustin, and Tyvis. Make sure you check out Dustin and Tyvis on the Ultimate Buckeyes, talking about that leading up to the college football playoff. We'll do that all on the UCSS Network. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes in all the sports. It's your boy G. Bush right over here with the Ultimate Browns. Make sure you continue to support us over there 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on UCSS every single day, Monday through Friday. Also, we give you from 1:30 to 2 o'clock. We give you our we lied to you. No, it's 11 to 1. Yeah, 11 to 1. Yeah, we'll give you that 12:30 to 1 is over on the WKYC. So check that out on WKYC. I almost forgot it for a second. Make sure you guys are checking us out on WKYC. If you can't get us in your local area, check out the WKYC app. You can find us on there. We do 30 minutes on live television every single Friday. So make sure you check us out over there as well. Before we got back to this segment, we were talking about it, and I feel like the Browns are in a difficult little situation. The energy is a little off right now. And what I mean by it is me being on ground zero, on the ground level here with the Cleveland Browns in the city of Cleveland. I do radio. I do television. I do the Ultimate Browns. I do UCSS. I do the Bleacher Report. I got my own show, The Barbershop, on YouTube. I do Cleveland.com every week. I'm on with Quincy a lot. So, when I'm doing content, I get the opportunity to touch base with a lot of different people and a lot of different opinions in the Cleveland Browns community. And so for me right now, it just seems like the energy is a little bit off. And when I say off energy, it's just like people, the fans are kind of checked out. And I would be too. You're 2-7. But it's a different type of checked out. It's a little indifferent. And let me explain it. Because the Browns, there's a couple of ways that we always look at in the media and in general, how we look at the way people digest the content, right? And the algorithm and analytics. Usually what you want to do is when you want to have people with a lot of interest, you either want to be super, super, super bad or really, 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 really good. So that means not in the middle era, right? And so right now, a lot of people can say the Browns are super bad, right? But here's the problem. So are a lot of other teams. And so when a lot of other teams are also super bad, those teams have a great opportunity to get high draft picks. So you're in a place this year where there's other teams that are just as bad as you, yet and still, you know, they also have other pieces and parts that you may say, wow, I might like their roster a little better. What also is coupled with that is people that aren't really sold on a number one guy. Like usually in the quarterback class, there's 2 or 3 quarterbacks that you want, or two just guys that you're like, wow, consensus, he's the number one pick. Let's boom, we taking him. Usually there's a defensive end that somebody or defensive lineman that people take high, or there's a quarterback. Traditionally, receivers and running backs and linebackers, corners, those people aren't seen as those generational type pieces and parts, and you don't take those guys with the number one pick. So right now, there isn't one quarterback that you would say, Cam Ward, they lost last week to Georgia Tech. Shedeur Sanders' stock is rising a little bit, but he's not seen as a once-in-a-generation type player, but people like him. He's not polarizing. There's people that like him and some people that feel like, all right, I like better prospects like Arch Manning in another year or so. So because there isn't that level of excitement around one guy in college, and then the Browns really don't have a readily available answer at quarterback. The money is a difficult conversation with Deshaun Watson. You got a stopgap kind of quarterback with Jameis Winston. You have a small sample size, played really great against the Ravens, not so great, actually terrible against the Chargers. And you got a young quarterback at DTR with a very small sample size who does some good things. We like his upside, but he's hurt a lot. He's fragile. He turns the football over. You throw on top of that, people feel like, the quarterback that we had in Deshaun Watson, they were forcing that on the fan base. They didn't like that so much. You had a booing situation. Then you have this whole fight back and forth with the stadium, and people are suing to keep the Browns here. Then they don't want to go to Brook Park. And here on the ground level, it just feels like people is just over it. It just feels like there isn't a level of excitement around them. You got people coming out, the Jedrick Wills thing. You had, you've had Zadarius Smith saying he was excited to get out of town. Juan Thornhill throwing like subliminal shots. Then you have the bye week. And you know what's funny? People is just out doing more. People is just out like people saying for the first time, I done caught up with my neighbors. I done did stuff with my kids. I done did some yard work. The Cavs are good. The Guardians went to the ALCS. For the first time in a long time, man, that energy level for the Browns during the season is just not there. And it would even be more encouraging if it was anger. It's not even anger. It's like, whatever y'all doing. Like, I see dudes putting up Brown clips. Them clips ain't doing no numbers. Heck, I see it all the time. I'm like, I'm gonna put this out. People is rather than investing in that, they're investing in other things to do with their time. They're investing in other things that don't involve arguing back and forth about the Cleveland Browns. Because we're starting to see other teams that are doing their thing. We're blessed to have 2 other teams in Cleveland that are very good, that have two totally different makeups. The teams have no problem. There's no drama off the court. The teams like each other. And when you're doing Browns content, and I'm just keep it real about even with me, sometimes you just like, look, I'm going to do the Browns content because, I am passionate about the Browns and it's part of what I do. But there are times where I come on and I don't want to talk about the Cleveland Browns because there ain't really nothing positive to talk about. Could that change? Sure, it could. But, I think this year is a really funny thing, man. because, you know, I've been doing this type of content for coming up on 12, 13 years, and especially on the internet. And at least the Browns during dark times had a level of hope, right? Like there was a level of hope that maybe if you got the GM, maybe if you got the coach right or the quarterback right, you were in the right area where you can kind of right this ship. But right now, I just feel like people are in between not knowing if this the GM, the coach, who's going to be the quarterback. Are you drafting a quarterback high? Will you have enough high enough pick? What's up with the cap situation? Do you like any of these young kids? Do you want to go with DTR? It's just a bunch of stuff. It is nothing concrete right now with the Browns, and I think it's going to take the rest of the season to evaluate most of it to figure out where the heck they want to go. Because right now it's a muddy it's a muddy situation. With that being said, we'll try to be a little more positive coming back up in the next episode. We'll give you some things, and hopefully the Browns give us something a little positive to talk about. It's another week, another opportunity to go out and see who get a win. Hopefully the Browns can look a lot better than they did against the Chargers, and hopefully this blog will be a lot more positive moving forward. With that being said, you never know. You never know where I might show up, radio, television, internet. But best believe if you want a fresh take and a fresh cut on sports, the barbershop is the place to be. And I always keep the Clippers with me. We want to say have a great evening. And as always, as hard as it is sometimes, we always got to say it. Go Brown.